Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayamarupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavasya Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitansha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapte Kanchani Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sate Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Jai Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. So everyone can see my screen? Yeah.
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. So we are in the last chapter of this module, which is the 12th chapter, devotional service. And we have done around half chapter. So let's finish this chapter today. So 12:10, I think this is where we started last week. So just do a quick recap.
Prabhuji, can I do it, please?
Okay. Hare Krishna, Raghi Mataji.
I'll read the translation first.
Yes, Mataji.
If you cannot practice the regulations of Bhakti Yoga, then just try to work for me. Because by working for me, you will come to the perfect stage. So in the previous shloka, it was Krishna was saying that if you cannot fix your mind on me, then you should at least follow the regulative principle. So you should do at least abhyasa. But in this, he's saying if you cannot even do abhyasa, like practice the regulative principles, asamartho, if you are not able to. The similar word in the last shloka is na sakshnoshi. So that also says it's not able to. Then you can at least do the work for me. And the work that you do are also two types. One is direct and one is indirect. And he says you have to do it for the benefit of me, for mad artham. So if you think what can Krishna benefit from us, so Krishna is actually looking for our service. For example, you talked about a person who was not a devotee, but he was just driving the truck for food for life. So he was eating prasadam. He was not a devotee. So he was doing indirect service there. So in that way. So if you do all that, then you will reach the stage of perfection. And so you're also talking about the karma, how it is directly and indirectly. So that direct service can be doing service for Krishna, like cooking for Krishna or doing garlands, something that is directly related to Krishna. And for indirect one, you gave an example of where your Guru Maharaj was saying that he was wearing a sweater and it was done by, it was manufactured in China by some people. So they are getting that Sukriti because he is wearing it. So that is indirect way. And also you gave another example where the devotees, when they were doing book distribution, some other person bought a drink for them or just gave money to buy food for them, like for the devotees. So that is the indirect seva they are doing. So these are the points I can remember, Prabhuji.
Thank you for reminding me, Mataji. I also forgot all these nice points. So thank you. You're making good notes. Anyone else want to add anything? I think Mataji covered pretty much all the good points. Thank you, Mataji. So that's 12.10. So Krishna is basically going down in the hierarchy. So it starts from the top and then comes down and then comes down. 12.11 is the next one. Who wants to do?
I can do it, Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji.
Translation: If, however, you are unable to work in this consciousness of me, then try to act giving up all results of your work and try to be self-situated. So in this verse, Krishna is coming one level down. And we sometimes think that if we cannot work for Krishna, then we are a materialist. Our tendency is to think that one who cannot work for Krishna is a materialist, is a sinful person, will be going to hell, so on and so forth. But Krishna's attitude is a bit different. His love is so great that he accommodates even those who refuse to accommodate him in his life. And how does he do that? He does it by encouraging them to do things in a spirit of sacrifice. So word for word translation, athaitad api asaktosi, atha and etad. So etad here means as in the previous verse. So asaktosi. So if one is not even able to do that, then kartum mat yogam ashrita. It means that if one cannot work for me, then what should one do? Sarva karma phalatyagam. Then give up all the fruits of the work. And tat kuru yat atmavan. And here atmavan means be self-situated. So just give up all the fruits and be self-situated. And that's what I remember from the class. I did not attend personally, but the YouTube video that I heard.
Okay. Thank you, Mataji. It's nice. Just a little expansion on Atmavan. If someone wants to do, what does Atmavan mean?
Yes, Prabhu, I can say. So,
Yes,
Prabhu, Atmavan means, like you mentioned, example like Vidyavan, the one who has Vidya, the one who possesses Vidyavan, Bhagwan, the one who possesses all the opulences, 6 opulences. Similarly, Atmavan is that the one who possesses Atma, in the sense that Atmavan is not worried about sense of gratification or pleasure. He has all his senses in control. He is the real Atmavan and he doesn't want anything for himself.
Yeah.
That's the
Atma. So one who has control of his Atma. So sorry, technically speaking, Atma should have control of Atma. Because body is not controlling Atma anyway. Huh? Atma is controlling body. But at the moment, many times, our bodily senses demands are like that we go astray. So what it's saying, Atmavan, your Atma should be under control. That means you should not do anything which is unfavorable. Huh? Roughly, that's Atmavan. Now, are we Atmavan at the moment? Probably not. Huh? Maybe sometimes we are, huh? But many times we are not. So we should try to proceed in that journey of becoming Atmavan. And how you can become Atmavan easily? You become Krishnavan. Once you become Krishnavan, try to possess Krishna again with love. Not by force, obviously. With love, then automatically you become Atman. And Prabhupada used to say very clearly, if you try to satisfy senses of Krishna, your senses will automatically get satisfied. Nowadays, 99.99% population of the world is trying to satisfy their own senses. My clothes, my car, my house, my ego, everything is me, 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 me. So if you become Krishna-centered, you don't have to stop eating. You can still have your respect in the society and all that. But if you try to serve Krishna, become Krishnavan, and then you become Atman. Actually, you're so self-satisfied that you don't need another 30 likes on your Facebook page. Oh, you're looking so good. You don't need it. Right now, because we don't have anything, then we look for some other attestment that, oh, I'm looking good, or I speak good, or I have this quality. But when you are with Krishna, you don't need these external attestations from other people. And if they come, that's very nice. We welcome them. So Atmavan. Yeah, so become Krishnavan to Atmavan. Thank you, Mataji. You want to do the 12-12, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhu, I can do it. If you cannot take to this practice, then engage yourself in the cultivation of knowledge. Better than knowledge, however, is meditation, and better than meditation is renunciation of the fruits of action, for which by renunciation one can attain peace of mind. So, Prabhuji, in this, we mentioned that if one cannot get the Krishna prema, or he's unable to do bhakti yoga, or he unable to fix his mind in Krishna, then it is better to engage themselves in the cultivation of knowledge. Jnana is important, at least constant hearing is important, accumulate that knowledge. And next step to that is, and better than the knowledge and better than hearing is the meditation. And better than meditation, once the person gains the knowledge, and eventually they will go into the meditation stage wherein they try to concentrate their mind on Krishna. And that is better than the knowledge. And better than the meditation, it is mentioned renunciation of the fruits of action. And we don't expect anything out of our karma, and we give all of that towards Krishna, all the fruits to Krishna, then person can attain peace of mind. And we mentioned some words here, important words here. So Shreya, and normally Shreya means in the long run, but in this verse Shreya means better, so it has two meanings. He is certainly, Jnanam is knowledge, and abhyasat means the practice and constant abhyas. Jnanat, knowledge. Dhyanam means meditation. Vishishyate means it is better than knowledge. Meditation is better than knowledge. Dhyanat, the meditation. And karma phala means fruit of karma. Tyaga means renunciate. So tyagat, by such renunciation again. Shanti means peace, and anantaram, thereafter. So one can constantly get peace. That's the real formula for peace of mind Krishna has given.
Thank you, Mataji. Just one thing here. What does dhyana refers to? Anyone can say? So there are so many types of meditations around in the today's world. So what does dhyana refer to here?
Is it Dhyan Yoga?
Ashtanga Yoga. Ashtanga Yoga. So we're referring to Ashtanga Yoga. So we're not referring to all these modern schools dhyana. No, Krishna is very specifically saying about Ashtanga Yoga, which he has mentioned in chapter 6 of Bhagavad Gita. So there are 8 stages there. So we are very clear. We're not going out of the syllabus here. Dhyan is very specific. Okay. Thank you, Mataji. 12:13. Anyone wants to do? Or I can take. Akhand Rasa Prabhu, would you like to do?
Hare Krishna.
Beautiful verse.
12:13, right, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Just read the translation first. One who is not envious but is a kind friend to all living entities, who does not think himself as a proprietor and is free from false ego, who is equal in both happiness and distress, who is tolerant, always satisfied, self-controlled, and engaged in devotional service with determination, his mind and intelligence fixed on me, such a devotee of mine is very dear to me. So again, Krishna is actually highlighting all the qualities a devotee has. So as mentioned in this verse, so basically Advaita is non-envy, Sarva Bhutan Mitran, meaning friend to all living entities. He has Karuna, which means kindness. Nirmama means no sense of proprietorship. Nirahankar, no false ego or pride. Sama is equal to all. Sukha and Dukkha is equipoised in both, in all conditions and situations. Kshama means forgiveness. Then Santushta is always satisfied with whatever he has. And Yatatma means self-controlled. And the last one is Dhrada Nishchaya, means he's always fixed and determined in serving the Lord. Mai Arpita Mana Buddhi is giving his mind and intelligence to Krishna, and then fix his mind and intelligence on Krishna. Yeah, I think that's all I have, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
No, that's good, Prabhuji. So, Yo Mad Bhakta Same Priya, one who has these qualities, he's my devotee and is very dear to me. Just one thing which we, Dhrada Nichaya, as Prabhuji was saying, very determined. We also find materialistic people are also very determined. But does that define them they're also devotees? How do we sort of distinguish? They're also very determined. They are sometimes more determined than us.
Prabhuji, here, Drir Nishchay means for the service of Krishna, we
Yes.
should be determined,
Yes.
and not for the, like, passion is good, but the passion is for the service for Krishna, and no matter whatever obstacles or problems comes in between, one should try to be Drir Nishchay and try to continue with the service for
Thank you. So the Dard Nishchay does not refer to, Dard Nishchay for our ego. Hum baat nahi karenge. We will not talk to this person, huh? Something like that. No, that's not what it's talking about. It's talking about whatever is favorable for the advancement of Krishna consciousness, we be Dard Nishchaya. Today, Ekadashi, for example, then we follow. Yen ken prakarin. We're not ready. Alu is not there. Sabudana is not there. Dard Nishchaya. Talking to some person or a devotee slash, you can say, he broke Ekadashi at 3 o'clock. I was like, why did you break it? Why you are not ready? Prabhu, kuch nahi tha. But you need to get it. Dard Nishchayi. Just one small example. So whatever is favorable for Krishna consciousness, very Dard Nishchayi. Other things doesn't matter. Okay, that's nice.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I just wanted
yes.
to add one more thing which I
Sure,
forgot,
Prabhu.
just taking my notes. That I think you mentioned that bhakti is not actually dependent on any material qualifications. So it's independent, basically.
Yes, that's very nice. So I'm looking at the Radhanath Maharaj picture, as he always says, Bhakti is not resource dependent, it is desire dependent. If you have desire to serve Krishna, you can serve Krishna in any situation of life. Huh? Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji. Just go to the next one, 12:15. Are we starting from here or we've done it? I can't remember. Okay, so let's do one more revision. Anyone wants to pick up? Who has them? Yes, Rupam Prabhu.
So I'll start with the translation. He by whom no one is put into difficulty and who is not disturbed by anyone, who is equipoised in happiness and distress, fear and anxiety, is very dear to me. So continuing the qualities of the devotee, Krishna further says that the one who doesn't get disturbed, or whose presence, due to his presence, others don't get disturbed.
No, just give me 1 second. Please continue. Just 1 second. Just open the door.
Yes, sir. So I'll go by word to word translation. So Yasman, by that, no dvichate, is one who does not get disturbed. So essentially what Krishna is saying is basically in his presence, others don't get disturbed, don't get anxiety. Some of the examples that we looked in the last class was Amrish Maharaj and Prahlad Maharaj. Then Krishna further says Harsham Harsha Bhayo. So be it happiness or distress, he is equipoised, he is the same. Bhaya Udvega, so doesn't get fear or anxiety due to Bhaya. So he doesn't get fear or anxiety as he's aware that he's always under the shelter of Krishna. And even if he gets hurt, if his body gets hurt, so as we have seen the example of Jad Bharat, where he was about to be killed, he was still equipoised. He was not in anxiety or any sort of fear. So in the either in Harsha or in Amharsha, he is still the same. So person with that sort of qualities, Mukto ya sacha me priya. So one who is liberated with those sorts of fear does not get impacted because of these external anxiety, is very dear to me.
Yeah.
That's ultimately.
Yeah. No, thank you, Prabhuji. Very nice and good examples. Yes, Manmohan Prabhu Ashwada Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
So just regarding this shloka, like I'm just talking about outside devotee community, when we go in the outside world and deal with different people, and because of their nature, they try and cause disturbance to us. And I mean, we are not trying to cause any distress, but we are trying just to protect ourselves. but in that process, we might cause distress to them. So how do we actually justify our behavior at that time? Sometimes they think that, oh, we are from ISKCON community, we are very decent people, they can do whatever they want to. And then in that cycle, like, I mean, sometimes we also have to be a bit harsh with them to protect ourselves. How do we actually react and how do we actually behave in that circumstance?
Yeah, thank you. Very nice question. So many times people think we are from ISKCON and they can just run over us. So that's not the definition of tolerance ever. A simple example from which we all know, where Yudhishthir Maharaj, one of the name of Yudhishthir Maharaj is Ajata Shatru, Ajata Shatru, one whose enemy is not born. Now, if you look in the practical life of Yudhishthir Maharaj, his life is full of enemies. From the very beginning of his life towards the end of it, and he had to deal with all those people. What Yudhishthir Maharaj thought, example, Duryodhan was constantly thinking Yudhishthir as his enemy. So in our mind, in our internal mind, we do not think that these people are wrong or we are wrong, whatever. In our mind, he killed his mama. Shalya was not a devotee of the Lord. No, he was definitely a devotee of the Lord. So internally, even Arjun was not thinking, that I'm killing my enemies. Arjun was constantly thinking that I am doing the vachan of Krishna.
Sorry, Prabhu, I'm not sure if it's just me, but I think your voice is breaking.
No, it's cutting out for me as well. Yeah, for us as well, Prabhu.
Yes, that is right, correct. No sound.
Yes, Prabhu, I think.
Okay, can you hear me now?
On and off, Prabhu, it is intermittent. So your screen, actually, videos also looks like it's frozen. Okay now.
What I will do? Screen is frozen. Okay.
It's better, but it's like intermittently it's coming and going. Prabhu.
Give me 1 second. Okay, so it must be some internet issue which is out of my control. I can change the connection. Give me a sec.
Maybe try turning off the video, Prabhu, for a minute and just see.
Okay.
Sometimes that helps.
Yeah. Okay, Hare Krishna. Everyone can hear me?
Yes, Prabhu, we can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So remind me to switch on my video after a while, because I will definitely forget. So I'm not sure where I got cut off. I was giving the example of Yudhishthir Maharaj. His name is Ajata Shatru. He never thought he has any enemy, but he had so-called many enemies. And he had to practically not only deal with the situation, as Manmohan Prabhuji is saying, you have to become harsh. Not only harsh, actually, he has to kill people, Manmohan Prabhuji. He has to practically kill them, including his own mama, his own uncle, Shalya. So he killed Shalya and many other people, many prominent warriors, actually, he had to kill. But that killing was not done on the behalf of his own ego. Oh, Shalya had said something 20 years ago to me, so, I have a good opportunity in the Yuddha. Not like that. So the Yuddha, the whole battle of Mahabharata was done under the instruction of Krishna. So from that perspective, this was actually following the instruction of Krishna. Arjuna was following the instruction of Krishna. So similarly, when we go out and we have to defend ourselves or our family member, once Prabhupada was meeting with some Buddhist preacher, a big prominent Buddhist preacher, and he was talking about ahimsa. And Prabhupada says, no, violence is also needed. And he was constantly saying, no, non-violence, non-violence, non-violence. And Prabhupada gave a simple example. Prabhupada had many followers, including some female followers. And Prabhupada said, and he also had actually followers. So Prabhupada also had his disciples. He also had his disciples. So he said, if you're walking with your spiritual daughters on the road, and if someone tries to molest your spiritual daughter, what would you do? Will you be non-violence? He asked the question, and this preacher was completely shut down. Prabhupada said, I will not. I will use violence. That time, to protect your family, you have to use violence. For example, not only by words. Yeah, if you can get away with words, obviously with words, but sometimes you may have to use some actions as well. So now if other person feel, oh Prabhu, you are from ISKCON, how are you using your hand and legs and all that? No, you have to use your hand and legs. And Krishna said, kill Karna, kill Dronacharya in a very difficult situation. Now sometimes people pick up this part of this Karna, Arjun killing Karna was very bad. Actually, it wasn't bad. So now if you see from a worldly moral perspective, yes, Karna killing was bad, the Dronacharya killing was bad, but we have to look at the history. If you don't look at the history, then if you just pick Ram killing Ravan, for example, if you just see Ram is killing Ravan, Arey, God is so bad, he's killing uh, who is Asura and who is Sura, no, you have to look at the history of Ravan, you have to look at the history of Duryodhan, you have to look at the history of Hiranyakashipu, and based on the history, the conclusion was they had to be killed. They had to be killed. Now killing is very bad, yes, it is very bad, and we should not kill, yes, we don't even kill an ant, but if it is needed, we can kill the whole world. Prabhupada said, we are not vegetarian, we are Krishnatarian. If Krishna asks us to become non-vegetarian, Prabhupada said, we will kill all the animals of all the world. So we are not vegetarians, we are Krishnatarians in all the aspects of our life. If Krishna says defense is needed for yourself, for your family, in whatever way, up to killing. If you see in the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, 6 types of atatais are described, 6 types of aggressors are described. And Manusmriti also says, even if you kill them, there is no pap, there is no sin. Now, killing is very bad, but under what circumstances you are killing, that has to be looked at. So if you're killing on account of those atatais, on those aggressors, yes, you can. Now, it should not be based on your own ego. Badla lena. That becomes your own karma. Soldier goes and fights on behalf of his country and he kills 10, 20 people. When he comes back, he gets a medal. But if we in a normal course of life, if you slap your neighbor, you may be sued in the court. You're hurting him, you're abusing him, all those things. So it should not be on your own ego. Otherwise, protection of devotee, protection of temple, protection of Krishna, protection of spiritual master, even in words, should be given. If your spiritual master or some senior Vaishnava is getting abused in an assembly, you should be able to defeat those people with words. If you can't, if you don't have that much power, what you should do, get out and take bath with clothes. That's what it says. So we are not the follower of non-violence. Actually, we are not. Where violence is needed, violence is definitely required. And Prabhupada, in the material world, violence is required. It's not mercilessness. No, it is needed. That's what the material world is. Like one more example comes to my mind. Jails are definitely there in each city. I went to some devotee's house and this devotee was telling, this devotee works in a jail, somewhere in the jail, because they need a staff. Now, who prefers jail? No one prefers jail, but there are jail. The government knows there will be some people who will do some anti-social activity and they have to be reformed in some ways. So people are sent there and it's not wrong on government's behalf. Is that okay, Manohar Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you so much, Prabhu. I mean, that's
Yeah.
what I think we have to deal with them the way they need.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The way they need on that situation, whatever is appropriate, and that obviously you have to take it maturely. Appropriate actions needs to be taken for protection of Krishna, his devotees, even your house. It's Krishna's house. If someone attacks your house, you have full right to protect your house. Then you are not like, oh, I'm non-violent. That non-violence is not recommended in our Shastra. That is a very different philosophy. Okay,
So
thank
can
you.
I add something to this?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
In one of the morning walk interviews, Prabhupada talks about this also from Indian freedom struggle point of view, that Gandhi was more towards non-violence and getting freedom through non-violence means. And Prabhupada said, no, that wasn't the appropriate manner. And finally, he got killed. So violence, as we just discussed, is required as where it is required.
Yeah.
And we cannot always apply the template of ahimsa everywhere.
Yeah. And that's why if you see Ramayana or Mahabharata, the wars are always there. Kaikeyi is there, Shakuni is there. What to do? These people will always be present in our lives as well. So we have to deal with them as appropriately. And many times, if possible, we take guidance. We take guidance. Again, depending on the situation. And that way we can deal it better. So yeah, the recommendation is don't go on your ego, just on your ego, because our ego gets hurt. And then if you're taking revenge, then it may come as your karma. But if you're protecting Krishna or his devotees, absolutely, you should actually. If you don't, actually, you get the karma. If you don't, then you get the karma. By protecting Krishna's family, you don't get karma. Rather, Krishna will like you, as he liked Arjuna. He said these atatais has to be killed. Arjuna was very soft-hearted, and Krishna did not recommend that actually. Okay, let's move forward. Yes, a very nice verse. His Holiness Bhakti Rasamrit Maharaj also gives this example many times. Okay, 12:16. You've done it? Oh, we're doing it today. We're doing it?
No, we have done it, Prabhu.
We've done it.
We have
Okay,
done it.
let's do it. Who has not done it? Maybe. Jamati Mataji, would you like to do one?
Yes, Prabhu. 12:16. My devotee who is not dependent on the ordinary course of activities, who is pure, expert, without cares, free from all pains, and not striving for some result is very dear to me. So the word by word is Anapeksha, Anapeksha, Suchi Dukha. Anapeksha.
Asha. Expectation. Anapeksha.
Yeah. So no expectation. So being neutral. So not taking like sides. And Suchir. Suchir is pure, like or clean, and Daksha is expert. So expert in serving Krishna, not making, as you gave example, not making gajar ka halwa, and expert doing that, but expert in serving Krishna.
If you don't mind, gajar ka halwa expert, we don't mind.
Yeah. And then Udasino is also won't take side. Free, and then Gata Vayatha is Gata is free, and Vayatha from distress. So you gave an example of Prabhupada. There were two people who were like saying, who was set their side, and they proved that they were right. But Prabhupada heard both the sides, and then afterwards said, yes, both of you are right. And they said, then Prabhupada also told them, they said that if both of us are right, then Prabhupada said that, do you want to be right or you want to be Krishna conscious? So that was an example that you gave. And then the next one is Sarvambha Pratikyagi. Sorry, my
Sarva Arambha. That's okay. Sarva Arambha. Sarva Arambha.
Sarva Arambha is giving up doing anything for your own sense gratification. And Pratigya is to remove. So
Parityagi.
Parityagi. So Yo Mad Bhaktas. So this such a devotee is very dear to me.
Thank you, Mataji. Very nice. You've done word by word translation. Okay. So far we have done all these qualities of a devotee, which Krishna is saying, I like to see my devotees. So obviously we as aspiring devotees should try to inculcate these qualities, not alone on their own, but in conjunction with our services. We should try to inculcate these qualities. Yes, Akhand Rasa Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. This is a question on behalf of my wife.
Yes.
116 actually talks about being free from expectations. So on this point, I think it will be easy or somewhat easy to have no expectations from neighbors or friends. But even with family members, you may have small expectation, and this is natural. But should one work on not having any expectation at all from anyone, including our close family members. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Very nice question. So, generally speaking, we don't have any expectation from the people whom we are riding with on train or bus. If they don't listen to us, okay, who cares? Neighbors also don't we much care. But with our family members, naturally we have some expectation. There's a relationship, and we put some effort in that relationship. So now, if those relationship hurt us, it really hurts. So how do we sort of understand that in terms of anapeksha? So naturally, we all are emotional beings. We are human beings. We are not robots. And Krishna is validly putting these relations in our life. So like there's a role of a father, there's a role of a mother, there's a role of a son. And Krishna has defined all these duties for each member. I was in Vrindavan once, and His Holiness Bhakti Raghav Maharaj was giving class. And he explains in Manusmriti, it's even defined how a lady should wash her hair, up to this detail, how to brush your teeth, that is also defined. Why these definitions are given? If we are all souls, then why there's a need of these shastras to tell you all these things, how to wash your hair, how to honor your guest who has come to your door, how to honor a devotee, how to do this and how not to do that. One devotee was arguing, not devotee, a non-devotee was arguing with Prabhupada, and is saying, in my opinion, the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita is Yathe chisi tatha kuru. Jaisi ichha vaisa karo. Whatever you desire, you do. And Prabhupada said that what's the speak of Krishna, taking all the effort of speaking 700 verses? If that was the conclusion, he should have just said, Yathe chisi tatha kuru. Arjun, you want to run away from the battlefield, you run away. No, actually, Krishna was persuading or trying to convince Arjun not to run away. And he was constantly, obviously, inspiring Arjuna. He was not giving commandment to Krishna that you must follow my instruction because I'm the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Why? Because even Krishna was telling Arjun, if you run away from the battlefield, you get actually apakirti. You'll get defaming. So we have to understand we are all humans. We have a particular relationship, and those particular relationship is based on certain emotions. And if those emotions are not fulfilled, we get frustrated. Now, what do we understand from this word anapeksha in terms of this human relationship? So the word anapeksha here definitely says, technically speaking, we should have no expectation. But as I've just explained, we will have expectation, but we should not have over expectation. Over expectation means if I'm the leader of the house, for example, and whoever that may be in different houses. Hare Krishna. That's okay. If I think I'm the leader of the house, and in different houses, the leader's position will vary. My Guru Maharaj used to give one nice example. He was saying, husband thinks I'm the leader, wife thinks I'm the leader, kids thinks I'm the leader, and dog thinks it's me. Because when you take the dog out, who's the leader? Who's serving the dog? So the leader of the house is serving the dog. So that means dog is the leader of the house. So what it means basically, we should not have over expectation on our relationship. Some expectation is natural. Over expectation means because I like kadhi or bhindi ka sabji, everyone else must like bhindi ka sabji in my family. That will not be the case. Someone will like karele ka sabji, someone will like aloo ka sabji. So that is called over expectation because I think I'm right. What's the saying in English? My way or highway? That is called over expectation. So expectation means if my son or my daughter or my spouse is supposed to behave in a certain way, which is as per dharma, and they don't, you try to inspire them. But after your inspiration, valid inspiration, they still do not listen to you. As Hiranyakashipu was thinking constantly, Prahlad is the worst demon in the whole universe. Everyone is a demigod except my son, isn't it? That's Hiranyakashipu perspective. In his opinion, Prahlad was the only demon in his family. Now, if you take it other way, as a devotee reading, Hiranyakashipu was the demon, not Prahlad. So this is called over expectation. So even after your inspiration, if things are not working as per you want, you then leave it to Krishna. If your body has a problem, you're supposed to go to the doctor, get the proper medication, treat yourself. This is your duty. Oh, I'm a devotee, I'm not the body. No, you have to treat your body. Again, time, place, and circumstances. But even after multiple treatments, if the treatment is not working, you don't get frustrated. You say, okay, this is what Krishna wants to me to live in this situation. So I'm happy to live that. But you should do your duty, and others should also do your duty. But if others are not doing their duty, some Prabhupada disciples left Prabhupada. Prabhupada was crying. Literally, I've heard in a lecture, Prabhupada was crying when a male disciple left Prabhupada, and he met his wife, who was also the disciple, and Prabhupada asked about the well-being of this male disciple, and wife was also crying. She said, this Prabhuji doesn't listen. Prabhupada was crying, and he said, request him to please come back. It's Prabhupada speaking. Who are we? So many people will not follow, even with all your good intentions, the Shastra. What can you do? And that's where you have to be very Krishna conscious in understanding this is Krishna's desire. Somehow or other is Krishna's desire. But we should try to do our dharma as best as possible. And even if it is consistently needs to be done, it needs to be done. But the over expectation means no. Hiranyakashipu saying, Prahlad must say Hiranyakashipu Bhagwan ki jai. This is called over expectation. If Prahlad is saying Vishnu Bhagwan ki jai, all right. But Advaita Acharya in Panchatattva, he is who? Anyone knows who's Advaita Acharya? He is Mahavishnu and Sadashiv. Now, he is not a normal person. He is a combination of Mahavishnu and Sadashiv. 4 of his sons became Mayavadi sannyasi. 4 of his sons became Mayavadi sannyasi. Now, can Mahavishnu not control 4 souls? He allowed them to become Mayavadi sannyasi. Now, if we force them to become Vaishnava sannyasi or become at least a Vaishnava brahmachari, this is called over expectation. So, do you think Advaita Acharya is a Mayavad or someone? He did not give his teachings properly, did not feed the kids properly. No, he did everything nice, but this is how it turned out. 4 of his sons became Mayavad. Now, in a house of Mahavishnu and Sadashiv, someone becoming Mayavad, wow, it's amazing. So this is how it is. So this is where we have to take help from philosophy, from these books, which we are reading on a daily basis. So we do our duty, but many things will go wrong in our life. That's where we have to become complete Krishna conscious, surrender to Krishna. Krishna, when you look in your face in the mirror, you should be saying, yes, I have done my duty, I have done my best. Radhesham Prabhu says, do the best and leave the rest. You do your best. We are very small living entities. We cannot control others. We cannot even control ourselves. And we don't want to control. We want to help them to become better people, better devotees. But many times people will have their own opinions. What can we do? So we should have expectation. It's very natural. All the mothers, fathers, husbands, wives, they will have expectations. It's very natural. Don't over expect. When the things go out of line, you remember Krishna. Thank you, Krishna, for making me aware that I'm not the owner of this person or of this situation or of this object. I'm just a mere instrument. And if you want me to use my services in this way, I'll serve in this way. But in our heart, there should not be any enmity. It says you may have, so-called 100 enemies, but you should not think I have 100 enemies. 100 people are thinking you as an enemy. Nothing much you can do. It doesn't mean you should behave in such a way. You should behave in a very exemplary way, but things will go wrong. Gauranga Prabhu was telling in one of his classes, one of Prabhupada's disciples was speaking with Prabhupada. I think it was Tamal Krishna Maharaj. Yes, it was actually Tamal Krishna Maharaj. So Prabhupada was talking about his previous grahastha life. So Prabhupada was mentioning how my wife, did not listen. And that famous incident, tea or me. So wife said tea. So Prabhupada left the house. So Tamal Krishna Maharaj, while he was conversing with Prabhupada, he said, I'm really very thankful to your wife. If she would have chosen you instead of tea, I will not be able to meet with you. So think from a broader perspective. Many times, things will not go correct. Now, one instance, again, Gauranga Prabhu was telling, Prabhupada was chanting on the stairs of his house. He was not allowed to chant inside house. Now, that's a big statement. Now, we are talking 100 years ago or something like that. His wife did not allow Prabhupada to chant in the house. Prabhupada was chanting outside house. Now, if you are able to chant in the house, you should pat yourself and say thank you to your family members. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Mataji. This is the world we are living in. Prabhupada, the Sakha of Krishna, eternal associate of Krishna. His business failed. You know why? People cheated him. You can read the whole like Leela there. People cheated Prabhupada. Prabhupada was like very hardworking, trying his best. Things didn't work out in his family, things didn't work out in his business, and he was just left behind alone. But Prabhupada was always fully surrendered to Krishna. He saw the situation. And the last time, I'll tell you this last example, beautiful example. He tried a factory in Lucknow. He had whatever savings was left. He went to Lucknow, and there's a city in India. If you're not next to Kanpur, I'm from Kanpur. So Lucknow is a very big city. Prabhupada went to Lucknow. He stayed there for many days. He put all his final savings in establishing glass business. He had nothing left after this. And he came back. He was waiting for some permissions to come through. He had invested like good amount of money. Whatever he had, he said, last time I will try. And when he came down to Vrindavan after that, a news came maybe after a few weeks that his employees, his managers and his other employees have looted the shop. His papers of the shop was burnt. No permission came through, although he had done everything appropriately. You know what the reaction of Prabhupada was? Prabhupada laughed. And he said, Krishna, that's the last thing I had. You have taken that away as well. Prabhupada laughed at it. This is called Krishna consciousness. You have no control over those things, those people. I say, oh, people cheating Prabhupada. Yes, people cheated Prabhupada. One of the Prabhupada disciples, he ran away with lakhs of Indian rupees. Prabhupada disciple ran away with lakhs of Indian rupees, which are accumulated by hard work of so many devotees. He ran away. Prabhupada was just silent. Okay. What to do? His disciple ran away. It's not like criticizing and saying, you rascal, you took all Krishna's money. Prabhupada was just silent. So Mr. Nair cheated Prabhupada and the whole ISKCON. Prabhupada was fighting like anything. And when Mr. Nair died, Prabhupada said, that was very good. Prabhupada said, first time, that was very good. Now, how can you say a devotee is celebrating on the death of this soul? Yes, Prabhupada said Hiranyakashipu had to be dead. He was like Hiranyakashipu. Narsingadev killed him actually. You know that. If you read the Leela, Narsingadev killed him. He said, very good. Prabhupada said. So, Manmohan Prabhu, sorry, coming back to your question. Sometimes this word has to be treated that way. And it's all fine. Is it okay, Mataji? Sorry, I don't know.
Yes, thank you, Prabhu.
I went over the board. But yeah, be Krishna conscious as much as possible. But we are all supposed to do our duties. We also supposed to do our duties. Expect, but don't over expect. And last thing, which is also valid, your expectation will also change in different times. And that's also valid. Huh? So your expectation 20 years ago from a person may be different than today. That's fine. Huh? Your expectation should not be frozen at one place. No, it should change. Chaitanya Prabhu gives a very nice example. When you're riding a cycle, a bicycle, when you have to turn left. So what do? If you have ridden the bicycle in your life, you turn towards left. When you have to turn right, what do? You turn towards right. So what's the balance situation? It is left or right or straight? No, it will depend where you're turning. You're turning left, then you have to turn left. So you're turning right, you have to turn right. So balance is not just a stagnant stage of your life. I should be chanting 16 hours every morning. I should be doing deity worship, this and no, it will change. And that's still balanced. Some unfavorable situation will come. Your life will go upside down. It's okay. It's okay. This is how life is. Accept it. Be Krishna conscious in that situation and move on. Okay. Chaitanya Prabhu says, learn but do not lament. Learning is always desirable, but lamentation is not desirable. Huh? Learn from the situation, grow from the situation. No need to lament. Lament is a mode of ignorance. And say Krishna wants us to be in this situation. That's fine. One day you are in palace, another day you are on road. It's fine. You're still Krishna conscious. Okay, let's move on. These practical life questions. So Anapeksha. This Anapeksha is a big word. And so it's a valid word. Okay, let's do 12:17. Who hasn't done as yet? Shraddha Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
12.17. Yo na hrishyati na dveshti.
Yo na hrishyati na dveshti.
Na shochati na kankshati.
Na shochati na kankshati.
Shubhashubh parityagi.
Shubha shubha parityagi.
Bhakti manya same priyaha.
Bhakti manya same priyaha.
Translation. One who neither rejoices nor grieves, who neither laments nor desires, and who renounces both auspicious and inauspicious things, such a devotee is very dear to me. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So a very clear translation. Yona Hrishyati. So Hrishyati, as Prabhupada writes, who neither rejoices nor grieves. Obviously, this term has to be understood in a proper context. Devotees are actually always happy, isn't it? So we're not saying don't be happy. No, we want to be happy. Why not? Because Krishna is happy, a devotee is always happy. But who neither rejoices in achieving something great materially. Huh? Suppose you get a lotto, for example, not devotees play lotto, but $1 million lotto. Yay! You win a award or something, a certificate, some graduation or whatever. The devotee knows this is not a permanent asset anyway. If you get it, great. We use it for Krishna service. Similarly, when you lose all those things, devotee is not going to grieve about it. So yona hrishyati na dveshti. Oh, I've got $1 million. One Prabhupada disciple was telling one instance. One Babaji in Vrindavan, when Prabhupada was present in this planet, Babaji in Vrindavan, someone gave him some money, and one of his disciples put this money under the pillow of this Babaji. And Babaji somehow came to know. And when Babaji is trying to sleep, he could not sleep. In the middle of the night, he had to call his disciple because he had taken a vow, I will not touch money. So he had to call his disciple because he can't touch the money, right? So please remove the pillow and take the money away, and now I will be able to sleep. And Prabhupada, when he heard this and he said, but me, I'm very different sannyasi. He was also a sannyasi. To me, you give me all the money of the whole world, and I will use it in Krishna's service. Prabhupada was very happy getting the money. Why? Because he wasn't using for his personal agenda. He said, I can sleep with money under my pillow, no problem. He says Prabhupada disciples are bringing money full in suitcases. In Hindi movies, sometimes you see 50 crore rupees or something like that. That's how much money Prabhupada disciples were bringing. Full suitcases. And Prabhupada within minutes will distribute. This much goes to Juhu temple, this goes to Vrindavan, this goes to Mayapur, this goes to BBT, and within minutes the whole suitcase is empty. He has used all the money. So not dveshti, he was not doing dveshti. Sometimes people have this dvesh for money or something. No problem. One time Prabhupada was in Jaipur. He was going to do a big program there. So one of his disciples has put a pamphlet, and the pamphlet they have put A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada in Jaipur with his foreign disciples. Prabhupada looked at the template before the program, obviously, and he said, no, correct it, right? American European disciples. And he said, what? Now, sometimes you may think he's become very egoistic, isn't it? He's writing American European. He said, foreigners may also mean Pakistanis and Sri Lankans. He said specifically, right, American and European. Now, you may think, why Prabhupada is, putting himself so up? He has to put himself up because this is a technique which he's using to attract people to come to Krishna. So this is not his ego. And sometimes, many times, when preachers go for program, they should present Krishna very nicely in all the aspects. You should present very presentable, very, in all the aspects, you should be very good because you are presenting Krishna, not you. There has to be good arrangement, whatever best possible. You should invite lot of people. So why? Because you are presenting Krishna. There's no need for humility there. Oh, one person come, I'm okay. Yeah. If after an invitation of 200 people, one person come, it's fine. But it's not you're always satisfied with one person. Otherwise, Prabhupada would not have preached to the whole world. Prabhupada was going around the world. I think someone just posted a quote. Once Prabhupada was asked, why do you travel so much? And the response of Prabhupada was so beautiful, so that you can stop traveling in 8.4 million species. Why are you traveling? I am traveling because you should stop travel. Beautiful. Prabhupada is approaching so many people. Na shochati, na kankshati. Shochati, again, as I said, lamentation. It's not learning, it's not bad. You look back in your life and you have some lessons to learn. You learn your lessons. What mistakes you have done, what things you could avoid, you do that. But you're not lamenting. Then you take, okay, whatever Krishna arranged, that's very nice for me. Nakangshati, there's no akanksha to become a big billionaire or something like that. One Prabhupada disciple in Australia, he was a very social person, and he wanted to go to politics, and he won some local election, I can't remember, MP, MLA, something he became, and he was going forward. When Prabhupada came to Australia, he asked Prabhupada, should I go forward? Prabhupada said, no, come backwards. This is not good for your Krishna consciousness. Huh? So the akanksha to be higher in the society, in the community is always there. But Prabhupada said in that situation, it's not needed, not needed. He said, just do your Krishna consciousness nicely, and you preach in other ways. There's no need to go in politics. Huh? Shubha, Ashubha, Parityagi. Shubha means auspicious. Again, auspicious here refers to material auspiciousness. Ashubha, Parityagi. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, there is a statement, Ei bhalo, ei manda, ei sab brahma. Bhalo means, there's a bhalo person here, Rupam Prabhuji. I don't know Bengali, but this line.
Good. Bhalo is good.
Bhalo is good. Kya bolte? Kemno ache? No, that's another one.
That's a question, Prabhu. Kemon achen? How are you?
How are you? Bhalo ache. Bhalo ache. Bhalo means I'm fine. Huh? So, ei bhalo, many times we get some bhalo things in our life, good things in our life, so-called good things, which I like, I call it good. Ei manda. Manda means that's not good in my life. I don't like that. Ei bhalo, ei manda, ei sab bhram. So bhalo is also bhram. Bhalo means good things are also bhram, and not so good things are also bhram. Why? Because they're all based on material platform. An example given is, beautiful example, Titanic. Anyone heard about Titanic? The ship which even God cannot sink. That's what's the statement. Even God cannot sink. In the first voyage, Titanic sank. I've heard people had that time, probably 100 years ago or so, had paid hundreds and thousands of US dollars to buy one ticket. Huh? And they thought this is the most auspicious thing they can do in their life. Yesterday only I heard one devotee was telling me, I didn't know about it. Some submarine was going to see this dead Titanic, and I was very surprised even to hear the proposal. Anyway, and the submarine burst, and the 19-year-old boy who also died, he paid 250,000 US dollars to go to see this lying Titanic in the ocean, what, 3-4 kilometers down the surface. And I was like, wow. Huh? So he paid 250,000 US dollars to die. Amazing. Huh? So ei bhalo, what he was thinking, very bhalo. Wow, wow, maza aa gaya, huh? I'll see this Titanic. And you could have seen another video or something. Huh? Ei sabram is all illusion because it's based on bodily and bodily identification. So shubha, ashubha, parityagi. Whatever ashubha you think in your life is happening or has happened or may happen, parityagi. A devotee is surrendered to Krishna. He does what he can do with his calculative mind. He takes calculative risks because this is the mode of goodness. But eventually, parityagi is Krishna's desire, which will take over in past, present, and future. Bhaktiman Yasame Priya. That person is very dear to me. Now, there are very high quality things, but we should try in our own little way. Okay, let's move forward. This is also beautiful. Rupam Prabhu, I'm not sure it's in your list, MIHC list. We should have this verse in our personal list. This is beautiful verses, very popular. We should learn them.
Prabhu, can I say something?
Yes, Mata.
In one of the classes, Chaitanya Charan Prabhu, and it is not related to Bhakti Shastri, just general class he was giving. In that, Chaitanya Charan Prabhu makes such a beautiful statement. He says that devotion is the emotion that takes us beyond all other emotions. So he was giving the example of a mother. He said that once she knows, the lady knows she is a mother to be, the feelings for the child already they start appearing. And once the child is born, no matter how exhausted and tired she is, she goes over and beyond in taking care of the baby. And then Prabhu compares the emotions you develop in during devotional service, by performing devotional service to the emotions a mother has while serving the child. And he says they are so overpowering, they surpass everything, every other material emotion that you may have in your life. So this was in relation to this particular verse only. And he was quoting this particular verse. So I thought it was just worth mentioning here.
Yes, thank you, Mataji. Very nice. If we could, inculcate those emotions
Yes.
in the same way.
The only thing is that I've never experienced that. For me, my material emotions overpower my devotional.
No, we are all trying in our own way. We have different capacities. By Prabhupada's mercy, one day we will be there. Okay, let's read 18:19. Who hasn't done as yet?
I read, bro.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Samasatrau cha mitre cha
Samahasatrau cha mitre cha
tata manapamanayo
tatha manapamanayoha
sitoshna sukha dukkeshu
Vitoshna sukha dukkeshu
samasanga vivarjitaha
Samahasanga vivarjitaha
tulya ninda sutirmauni
Tulya ninda sutarmauni
santushto yena kenachit
Santushto yena kenachit
anyekita sthiramatir
Aniketaha sthirmatir
bhaktiman me priyo naraha.
Bhaktiman me priyo naraha.
One who is equal to friends and enemies, who is equiposed in honor and dishonor, heat and cold, happiness and distress, fame and infamy, who is always free from contaminating association, always silent and satisfied with anything, who doesn't care for any residence, who is fixed in knowledge and who is engaged in devotional service, such a person is very dear to me. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So Samaha Shatrau cha mitre cha. Now I know this theme is sometimes repeated in Bhagavad Gita, but again the repetition shows the emphasis of that point. Samaha Shatrau, so we should be equipoised to our Shatru. Somewhere Prabhupada, I think 13th chapter writes very nicely. A devotee is so simple that he can even reveal the most secret thing to his enemy. That's amazing a statement. He is simple. He is Arjava. Prabhupada gives example of Arjava. I was reading today. So a devotee is simple. And I think His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj was telling in one class. Sorry, it was Radhanath Maharaj. Telling in one class, he was saying, common sense is the most uncommon thing in today's world. Common sense is the most uncommon thing in today's world. And many things which can be resolved in common sense takes a big matter, big disagreement. A little common sense is needed, and both parties can be happy, but it doesn't happen. And Maharaj was beautifully saying, common sense is the most uncommon thing. That's so true, so true. Sometimes you think, why they are disagreeing, but a big thing is going on. So, Samaha Satrau cha mitre cha tatha mana apaman yoho. Anyone remembers the example where a person was sama or equal in man and apman? Anyone, any Shastric examples?
Lord Nityananda.
Lord Nityananda, Mataji, can you explain more? In which situation he was
maybe
saying?
When he got hit by Jagai Madai, like they hit him.
But they didn't do man to him. They only did.
Oh, Lord Krishna, I think, because in the Sabha he could praise and he goes, man and Apman both.
Wow.
And he was
Amrish Maharaj.
Amrish Maharaj.
Lord Shiva.
Lord Shiva, thank you, Mataji. Can you just expand the situation?
I think it was he was being insulted by Daksha. Is it Daksha?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
He did not speak one word. He was Sama. Rupam Prabhu, you said Amrish Maharaj. Can you please?
Yes, bro. I was referring to the past time where Amrish Maharaj. Back to your point of, don't know if Man was there, but Apman was definitely there.
Yep.
Neutral and Apman, if that works.
Okay. Any more?
Lord Ram, Prabhuji, is it Lord Ram? Lord Ram.
Okay, Lord Ram, very good example. When he was given the kingdom, he was completely sort of emotionless. Yeah, I got the kingdom. And when the kingdom was taken away within few hours, he was completely sane. Actually, it says he was happier when kingdom was taken away. Anyway, they're different pastime. Any situation where man and Apman was simultaneously present, sort of simultaneously. In the same situation, both were present. I should not say
Yudhishthir Maharaj?
Example, Mother, which pastime you're referring?
When he was asked, requested to play with in the gambling match, like, but he's a Kshatriya, so he has a duty to respect that. And so as a respect, I don't know if it's Man, but he joined it, and then Man happened after.
He was following the instruction of
Prabhu, Jada Bharat, Prabhu. Jada
Bharat. I was looking for this example. Please expand, Prabhuji.
Prabhu, Jada Bharat, that he was asked to carry the palanquin of king, and he was like moving here and there, and the king was making fun of him, made up a man, and then he started giving philosophy of why he was doing it. Then something related to that.
King fell at the feet of Jada Bharat, right on the spot, right within the same pastime. So first, same king did Apman, gave a lot of sarcastic words to Jada Bharat, and when he realized he's a devotee, he fell at the feet. He gave a lot of man. He said, "You are my guru. Huh? I can deal with the Vajra of Indra, but I cannot deal with the offense of a Vaishnava or Brahman." So he did man. So same pastime, simultaneously sort of, there was Apaman and then man. And you know what happened towards the end of it? Jada Bharat did not feel, yeah, I got one disciple today. He is doing a lot of praise to me. Let me stay here for some time. No, after the Upadesh, he disappeared. And Rahugan became, it says, another Jada Bharat. This is called being equal in man and Apman. Very difficult. Radha Govind Maharaj was telling in one class, actually being tolerating the Apman is all right. Many times, it's very difficult to tolerate Apman, but still you can tolerate the Apman. But tolerating the man is actually more difficult than tolerating the Apman. You know why? Man really touches the heart. Apman, he's a rascal, he's saying like that. But man, he has to be right. Prabhu, you are so good. Prabhu, you speak so well. Prabhu, you did so nice kirtan. Prabhu, you did this and that. It touches the heart. Be honest. Ask everyone's heart, individually. You will feel something in your heart that this devotee is right. When he's doing Apman, in your heart is, no, he cannot be right. He cannot be right. When he's doing Man, you will say, actually, he is right. I am good. Actually, in the voice, in the reply, nahi, Prabhuji, nahi. It's all mercy of Prabhupada. Inside your heart is thinking, kuch to hai. Something is there. So that means you cannot tolerate man. You go to someone's house for 2 hours and he host you nicely, and then you stay for 20 hours. That means you could not tolerate man. If you go for 2 hours, it does not mean you don't overstay in devotee's house. I'm not saying that. It doesn't mean like that. But what it means to say, if we are there for a business, and the devotee may be very nice, very genuine, but you are there for a business, you do your seva and move towards the next seva. Because if you overstay for like 5 days or 10 days, you could not tolerate the man. So we should be very, very careful, not only in Apman, in man as well. And many times devotees slip, not in Apman, in man they slip. So we should be very extremely careful. Man should be given to Krishna and spiritual master. All the man credit goes to them, not to us. So you do your seva and just move on. Okay. Sita Ushna Sukha Dukheshu Samaha Sangha Vivar. So Sita Ushna Sukha Dukheshu, what does it mean? We already know Sita and Ushna, they belong to the bodily level. So it also involves bodily Sukha and bodily Dukha. It's not just the temperature outside. We're not talking just the temperature, which may be the case. Sita Ushna also refers to bodily comforts and discomforts. And Sukha and Dukha is our mental feeling. And Man Apman refers to our egoistic level. So there are 3 levels there. Samaha Sangha Vivar. So Sama refers to Sama Sitoshna Sukha Dukheshu Manapanyo. Sangha Vivarjita, Sangha refers to materialistic Sangha. So, and Prabhupada writes in Nectar of Instruction that Sangha does not mean you don't work with them, you don't go to ride with them. All those things are not called Sangha. Sangha means when you have emotional exchanges with them. You have a problem in your family and your friend, and you go to your office colleague. Yaar, aajkal bahut problem chal raha hai. No, go to a devotee. He will guide you or she will guide you, not an office colleague, because that's where you start having an emotional exchange. He will tell you some materialistic solution. A devotee will tell you devotional solution. Sangha Vivarjitaha. Prabhupada also writes there, exchanging of gifts. Exchanging of gifts, very careful, very careful. What you're exchanging and with whom you're exchanging. Tulya, Ninda, Stutir, Moni. So Ninda and Stuti, we all understand. So Ninda means someone is giving a negative feedback, which is quite often we get that. Stuti, which we look forward to, but we hardly get it. So Stuti means I feel he's doing my Stuti. Moni means, again, Prabhupada said, Moni means you don't speak any prajalpa, you only speak Krishna conscious things. Once Prabhupada was there in India somewhere, and one of the person, maybe his disciple or someone, got a person, a Baba who was a Moni, and he will not speak, and he will write everything. And Prabhupada sort of tolerated him for an hour or so, and then when he left, Prabhupada said, you could have spoken few things in words. What's the matter here? What's the matter? He's wasting so much time in writing and trying to pass the message which is in his mind to others' mind. So Moni means do not speak prajalpa. And many times, all of us, in some way or other, we are not Monis, so we should become Moni. Save your energy for Krishna. Glorify Krishna. Santushto yena kenchit. Now, Moni does not mean here you go to the market, especially in India, you say, Alu kya bhav hai? What's the cost of the potato? And he will say, 12 rupees kilo. Then you are sort of, hum log kya karte hain? Mol bhav karte hain. We will negotiate the price. 10 rupees mein do na. So you are saving 2 rupees a kilo or something like that. But for whom? For Krishna. So that is also Krishna seva. Wherever you can save money or Lakshmi or resources for Krishna, you save. That's not prajalpa. Santushto yena kenche. So whatever a devotee gets, he is santushta. He is satisfied. Anyone remembers that verse? Trishu santosha kartapya bhojane sodare bhojane dhane trishu santosha na kartapya. Jap tap swadhyay jap dana yoho. The 3 things we should be satisfied with, 3 things we should not be satisfied with. So santushto yena kenche refers to all the materialistic thing. Whatever you get in the plate today, thank you very much. No complaints. Aniketa. Niket means a nivas sthan, where a residence, where you live. Aniketa, where you don't live. So devotees don't have house. All of you sitting on the road, you all have houses. But does that make you a non-devotee because you're sitting in a house? No. Aniketa means you don't feel complete shelter or ultimate shelter in this building where you are sitting. You don't feel ultimate shelter here. You all have a house in Krishna's house. This is Prabhupada built a house in which whole world can live in. So house is needed, but what sort of house? An inner house, an internal house where we feel complete security and complete shelter when we are with Krishna. Now, outer house may be there, may not be there. That doesn't matter. Isthir matir, you are very steady in your intelligence. You're not flickering. Flickering means one day you do so much seva, you do 64 rounds, another day 0 round. You're reading so much Bhagavad Gita today, and then 6 months not to be seen. Not like Isthir matir mein iman mein priyo na raha. Ras Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, sorry for the silly question. I can't differentiate what is man, apaman, and ninda and stuti.
Thank you. Very nice. I was going to say that I forgot. So man and apaman, ninda and stuti. So man and apaman, the difference. Everyone understands the question. So man, apaman, ninda, stuti. So man, apaman is what I feel. I feel. Suppose I went to an assembly and they offered me any garland makers here. I'm not sure. Anyone makes garland for the Lord? Anyway, different types of flowers. I don't know the name. You know that that white flower. What do you call that? Very popular in Australia.
Chrysanthemum.
Okay, chrysanthemum, for example. That's a very sort of cheap side of flower. So I get a garland of those flowers, and I feel apaman, ghor apaman. How can they offer? I'm such a great Vaishnava. They should offer me a garland of roses, at least roses, if not lotuses. So man or man is what I feel. Okay, Hare Krishna. Yes, I was saying in this particular verse, the main emphasis is given is on the word Shraddha or faith. So we should have faith in these qualities, as we were discussing earlier. We should not inculcate or practice these qualities alone in separation to bhakti. So when we practice these qualities in conjunction with bhakti, they really make us fast in our bhakti advancement. And if you do that, bhaktas te ativ. Ativ word is a Hindi word, as a Sanskrit word used in Hindi as well. Ativ means bahut zyada, very, very dear. So those sort of devotees are loved by Krishna. So let's move forward to the 13th chapter. Now in this chapter, in this section rather, I should say, module 3, which is 13 to 18, this is the last module of Bhagavad Gita. What's the name given here? So-called Jnana Yoga. But here Jnana Yoga refers to Jnana Yoga, which leads to Bhakti Yoga. And you'll see the presence of Bhakti in each chapter. And you'll see like verses and you'll get surprised. How come this is a part of Jnana? So Krishna very expertly giving some content for Jnanis as well, or who like that path, but somehow or other he's moving them again and again towards Bhakti. And you will see sometimes it's very explicit, sometimes it's implicit. Now this chapter here, nature, enjoyer and consciousness, is considered one of the most complex chapters of Bhagavad Gita, because there are some verses here which can be interpreted in a different way. But by Prabhupada's mercy, we are reading Prabhupada translation, so we are pretty safe. So let's start the chapter and we'll see how we go. So nature means, anyone knows Sanskrit word for nature?
Prakriti.
Prakriti, thank you. The enjoyer, Purusha, and consciousness. The Sanskrit word here, which is used in our books, is Viveka. So this is Prakriti Purusha Vivek Yoga. The chapter name in Sanskrit is Prakriti Purusha, and Prabhupada translated that one is nature, enjoyer, and consciousness. Now this chapter is not related in terms of the thought flow to chapter 12. Arjun is asking few questions in first verse of 13th chapter, and Krishna will respond to those questions in the rest of the chapter. So Arjun asked 6 questions, and Krishna will respond to them. Now I've heard in Chaitanya Charan Prabhu's class, there in some versions of Bhagavad Gita, the 13.1, which is the question of Arjun, is not present. So Prabhu was saying we should not bother about whether it's present or not, but in our Acharya's books, the first verse is included. So we don't have to bother too much about that. And he says this first verse has to be there in his opinion, because that sets the background for Krishna's discussion. So in some Bhagavad Gitas, I have not seen it personally. In Gita Praise Bhagavad Gita, the 13.1 is not there. So some people, if reading and do not find it, it's fine. It's all been reconciled in our books. Okay, so let's read 13.1. Who hasn't done as yet?
Can I read, Prabhu?
Yes, Mataji.
Arjuna Uvacha.
Arjuna Uvacha.
Prakritim Purusham Chaiva.
Prakritim Purusham Chaiva.
Kshetram Kshetrajnam Evacha.
Kshetram Kshetrajnam Evacha.
Edat Viditum Ichchami.
Etat Veditum Ichchami.
Jnanam Jneyam Cha Keshava.
Jnanam Jneyam Cha Keshava.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha.
I think we'll just do this verse and then we'll come to the second verse.
Yes.
We can read the translation just for the Arjun.
Arjuna said, "Oh my dear Krishna, I wish to know about Prakriti, nature, Purusha, the enjoyer, and the field and the knower of the field, and of knowledge and the object of knowledge."
Thank you. So here Arjun is asking these 6 questions to Krishna, and the topics are Prakriti. We'll leave it as it is. I'll not expand on it because this is what Krishna is going to expand in the whole chapter. Prakriti, nature, Purusha, this enjoyer, Kshetra. So Kshetra is the area or field, we call it. Kshetrajya, who is the knower of that field. So 4 questions here. Etad means these 4. Veditum Ichchami. So Ved means to know, Ichcha means to desire. I am desirous to know these things. These are 4 in the first 2 lines, and the last 2 in the last line. Jnana, which we called as knowledge, and Gaya, what is to be known. Cha Keshava. So hey Keshav, can you please expand on these 6 terms? And this is what Krishna is going to do. So someone can read the second verse.
I can try, Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji.
Shri Bhagavan Vacha.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha.
Idam Shariram. Sorry. Idam Shariram Kaunteya.
Idam Shariram Kaunteya.
Kshetram iti abhidiyate.
Kshetram iti abhidheyate.
Etad yo veti tam prahu.
Etad yo veti tam prahuhu.
Kshetrana iti tad vidaha.
Kshetragya iti tad vidaha.
Translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "This body, O son of Kunti, is called the field, and one who knows this body is called the knower of the field." Thank you, Prabhu.
So you can see there are 6 questions and they go like in a couplet. So Prakriti and Purusha will go together. Kshetra, Kshetragya will go together. Jnanam and Gyaya will go together. Now, if you look at these 6 of them, 3 of them are conscious, 3 of them are not conscious. Can anyone tell which 3 are conscious beings? So in each one, there's one conscious, one unconscious. So
Purusha is conscious.
Purusha is conscious, Prakriti is unconscious. Kshetragya means the knower. Kshetra is the field. Khet in Hindi they call it. Huh? So Khet or Kshetra, area, is unconscious. Kshetragya is conscious. Jnanam, knowledge, is unconscious. Gyaya is conscious. So we'll read this sort of theme throughout the chapter. So in this verse 2, Krishna has answered 2 questions. What are the 2 questions? Idam shariram kaunteya. Kaunteya refers to Arjuna. Idam refers to this. Shariram is shari, body. So this sharir, this body is known as Kshetra. Kshetra is an area. Why it's called Kshetra? I'll explain in a second. Etad yo veti tam prahu. This is what it is said. Kshetragya, and one who knows this Kshetra, iti tad vidaha. That is known as Kshetragya. So basically what Krishna is referring to, body as a Kshetra or area, and Kshetragya referring to the soul. Like your soul is the knower of your body up to an extent. Now no one knows what's going on there in own body. When you go to the doctor, you say, "Doctor, pet mein dard hai, I have a pain in my tummy." And you don't know, what's wrong in your tummy. Your liver is not working, or there's some other problem in the liver. You don't know all that. And doctor uses all the instruments and all the tests. Sorry, some doctors are here. So we don't know, right? We have to rely on his description, do some tests, and then we may reach to certain conclusion. Okay, Prabhuji, this is the problem, and that is the solution. So Kshetra, the definition of Kshetra. Now, in one sense, in one sense, up to an extent, you know about your body, but do you know about your neighbor's body or your other family member's body? Your son comes to you, Mama, I have some problem, this and that. So Mama says, "Beta, what happened? This happened, that happened." So you are the knower of your own body. So Kshetragya can be of 2 types. One Kshetragya, which is the knower of your own body. Again, that is also not complete, right? And one Kshetragya, who is the other Kshetragya in your body? Soul and super soul, which is the knower of all the bodies. Like Krishna knows all the bodies. Krishna knows your pain. Krishna knows your neighbor's pain as well. But you are not knower of your neighbor's pain. You are only knower of your pain. So your Kshetra, your area of influence, Kshetra can be converted as area of influence, is quite limited, isn't it? If a mosquito sits on your hand, you may feel it. Mosquito sits somewhere else, you don't feel it. So although there are a limited Kshetragya and there's unlimited Kshetragya, there's a soul and there's a super soul. So which Kshetragya verse 2 is talking about? Anyone? Idam Shariram. See, Krishna is using the word Idam Shariram, this body. So if you are the knower of this body, you are the smaller Kshetragya, isn't it? So you are a Kshetragya, definitely, but you are a smaller Kshetragya. Now Krishna will talk about the other Kshetragya in the next verse. 13.3, someone can read. Bhakti Vijay Mataji, would you like to read?
Yes, Prabhuji. Kshetragnam chapimam vidhi.
Kshetragnam chapimam vidhi.
Sarva kshetreshu bharata.
Sarva kshetreshu bharata.
Kshetra kshetrajnayor jnanam
Kshetra kshetrajnayor jnanam
yatta jnanam matam mama.
yatta jnanam matam mama.
O sign of Bharata, you should understand that I am also the knower in all bodies. And to understand this body and its knower is called knowledge. That is my opinion.
Thank you, Mataji. So, matam mama, again, Krishna has used this matam mama many times in Bhagavad Gita. Again, it does not make this a statement less valuable. This is ultimate statement was coming by Krishna, but it's just the humility of Krishna. He's saying matam mama is my opinion. What is Krishna's opinion? Kshetragya cha api mam vidhi. So the word mam is very clearly used here. Kshetragya, there's another Kshetragya, and Prabhupada writes, you should understand that I am also the knower. So I'm also Kshetragya. You're also Kshetragya. Idam shariram, in your sharir, you are the Kshetragya. Kshetragya cha api mam vidhi sarva kshetresu. And how many kshetras I know? How many areas I know? Sarva kshetresu. I know about everyone. Now, I have heard this in a class somewhere. Some Mayavadis philosophers translates as verse 2 and verse 3 referring to the same person. Some Mayavadi, I don't know. So this is very amazing. How can they interpret verse 2 and verse 3 in the same manner? Because verse 2 says idam shariram. It does not talk about all the kshetras. And verse 3 refers to sarva kshetreshu. Sarva kshetreshu bharat. Also, Krishna uses the word mam, me. Cha api mam, there is another kshetragya. So there is clearly two kshetragyas. One is the knower of this body, in the soul sitting in that body, and one is another knower of the body, which is the knower of all the bodies, of all the kshetragya. And Krishna is knower of not only the bodies, not only the chara, achara, he is the knower of everything. And now the next line, Krishna says, beautiful, kshetra gayor jnanam. And to understand this body and its knower is called knowledge. So if you understand this body, which is a kshetra, if you understand the knower of the body, that means kshetragya, two kshetragyas, soul and super soul, that is called knowledge. That is my opinion. So third definition Krishna is giving of jnana, knowledge, is what? If you know the difference between body and soul, that's called jnana. And Krishna will later describe in 13.8 to 12, anything else which is beyond this is all called ajnana. One devotee in Sydney temple was asking question to His Holiness Prahladananda Maharaj. Prahladan Maharaj gave Bhagavatam class, was also there, and Maharaj explained beautiful about Krishna and all that. And he was saying we should not have too much faith in the modern material world. And this young boy was asking Maharaj, but Maharaj, we have so much advancement done in spaceships and this medicine and that medicine. And Maharaj just he explained a lot of things. He said, yeah, the scientific advancement of this material world. And Maharaj said, this is all ajnana. And he said, really? It's all ajnana? He said, yes, because it does not take you towards Krishna. Isn't it? By knowing a spacecraft and spaceships, with all due respect to all these scientists, but does it take you towards Krishna? No, it doesn't. So the thing which does not take you towards Krishna, and that's why I was speaking with Rupam Prabhu earlier, saying, jnana is not a piece of knowledge. Jnana is the jnana between soul and body, and following that to come out of that bodily concept. That's called jnana. So jnana is not like I have 3 PhDs. I'm a big jnani. No, that's not the definition, Shastric definition of jnana. So Krishna is very clearly saying, understand this body, and the knower of this body is called knowledge. That is my opinion. That's true. Now, there are big purports Prabhupada has given, defeating lots of concepts. So I hope we're all reading those purports. It will really help. 13.4. I prefer who hasn't done it. Mohit Prabhuji, if you can.
Sure, Prabhu. Give me a second.
Yes, sir.
Tat kshetram yaccha yatracha
Tat kshetram yaccha yadracha
yad vikari yataschaya
yad vikari yataschayat
saya yo yat prabhavascha
Sacha yo yat prabhavascha.
Tatsamasena me shunu.
Tatsamasena me shrunu.
Now please hear my brief description of this field of activity and how it is constituted, what its changes are, whence it is produced, who that knower of the field of activities is, and what its influence are. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. Now Krishna is going to start describing Sankhya Yoga, which we also read in Srimad Bhagavatam, the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam by Kapil Muni, and he is giving a sort of introduction. And the good word here he gives, Tat Samasena. So Samasena, Prabhupada translates in summary, because obviously Bhagavad Gita is describing concepts in summary. The details are given elsewhere. So Krishna is saying, Tat Samasena me shrunu. So I'm going to describe you in summary. Please hear that. What I'm going to describe you, Tat Kshetram. So Kshetram, Krishna has already described, and he will give more details soon. Yacha Yadrakcha Yad Vikari. So word Vikar, you can understand. Vikar, anyone knows Vikar? Vikar means transformation. So there is a straight thing in Vikar. It says yogurt is a Vikar of Doodh. Is it correct? So it says Lord Shiva is like Dahi, and Lord Vishnu is like Doodh, it's like milk. Prabhuji says that. So yogurt is made up of milk, but you can make yogurt from milk, but you cannot do other way. From yogurt you cannot make milk. So it's called Vikar. Vikar means transformation in such a way you can't go backwards. That's called Vikar, transformation. We are all under Vikar, isn't it? We are all pure Krishna conscious entities. But right now, we think we are, male, female, Indian, American, Australian, and we have this designation, that designation. That's all called Vikar. But it's completely reversible Vikar. Yad Vikari Yatachay, Sacha yo yat Prabhuascha. And what are the influences of those Vikaras? What are the influences of those transformation? This is what I'm going to describe you in summary. So let's see what Krishna is going to describe now. There's not much philosophy in these verses, so we'll just read and just pick a few words. 13.5. Now, Prabhuji, if you like to read.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Rishabir Bahuda Gitam.
Rishabir Bahuda Gitam.
Chandobir Vividhaiva Pratak.
Chandobir Vividhai Pratak.
Brahma Sutra Padaishchaiva.
Brahma Sutra Padaishchaiva.
Hetu Mandhir Vinishchiti.
Hetu Matbhir Vinishchitaiha.
That knowledge of the field of activities and of the knower of the activities is described by various sages in various Vedic writings. It is especially presented in Vedanta Sutra with all reasoning as to cause and effect.
Thank you, Prabhu. So, Rishi here, if you understand word Rishi or sages, Bahuda Gitam. So, Gitam here refers to, in Hindi, there's a word called Geet. So, Gita refers to, we have Bhagavad Gita, so a long Geet, a long song. Gita also refers to description. So, here the meaning description can be taken, described. Prabhupada writes here, Bahuda Gita means in many, many places, Rishis have described this. Chandobir. Now, Chanda also has multiple meanings. Chanda refers to a meter in which we read the verses, like we have different meters of reading Srimad Bhagavatam verses or Bhagavad Gita verses. Chanda also refers to Chandogya Upanishad. And Prabhupada writes a simple meaning here, Vedic hymns. Chanda means Vedic hymns. Vividhai Prathak. So in many Chanda, in many Upanishad, in many Vedic hymns, Rishi has described, especially in Brahma Sutra. Prabhupada writes Brahma Sutra and Vedanta Sutra is same. Vedanta Sutra means Veda Anta Sutra. So Veda means all the body of knowledge. Vedanta means the conclusion of the body of knowledge. And Sutra means so the conclusion of Vedic knowledge written in Sutra form, in a very small Sanskrit verses like Aham Brahmasmi. This is the first verse. Tattva Jigyasa. This is I think the second or third sutra of Vedanta Sutra. And he says Srimad Bhagavatam is the natural commentary on Vedanta Sutra. So instead of reading Vedanta Sutra, which is very hard to understand because there are different Sanskrit verses are given, which is very hard to understand. They can be interpreted in multiple ways. We should read Bhagavatam and we will understand the whole Vedic literature just by reading Srimad Bhagavatam, because this is the cream of all Vedic literature. So Brahma Sutra Padashaiva Hetu Madhir Vinishchatai, and these rishis have described these different things, which is what I'm going to describe as well. Let's go forward. Now here Krishna describes the real Sankhya philosophy, 13:6 to 7. Manmohan Prabhu, would you like to read one?
Prabhu. Mahabhutani ahankaro.
Mahabhutani ahankaro.
Buddhiravyaktam evacha.
Buddhiravyaktam evacha.
Indriyani dasaikam cha.
Indriyani dashaikam cha.
Pancha chendriya gochara.
Pancha che indriya gocharaha.
Ichha dvesha sukham dukham.
Ichha dvesha sukham dukham.
Sanghatas dhrita.
Sanghatas dritihi.
Etat kshetram samasena.
Etat kshetram samasena.
Savikram udharatam.
Savikaram udharatam.
Translation: the five great elements, false ego, intelligence, the unmanifested, the 10 senses, and the mind, the five sense objects, desire, hatred, happiness, distress, the aggregate, the life symptoms, and convictions, all these are considered in summary to be field of activities and its interactions. Hare Krishna.
So Krishna is describing different types of kshetras. What are different types of kshetras? And also savikaram, and the interaction or the transformation of these different elements. What are these different elements? Mahabhutani. Anyone knows what this Mahabhutani are? Obviously read by Prabhupada, five great elements. Who are these five elements?
Fire, air, ether.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Which verse you are referring, Manmohan Prabhu? Can you tell the verse?
Bhumi nalo apur vayu.
Kham mano buddhireva. Ahankaritiyam mein bhinna prakriti rasrita. Verse number, Vijay Mataji is telling something I can't hear.
7.14 something. 7.4.
So it's after Manshanam Sastesu. So 7.4 is after bhinna prakriti rasrita. Similar thing Krishna is describing here. Panch, okay, Mahabhutani means five elements. Ahankar, this is also one element. This is also material element. Buddhir, buddhi means intelligence. Another element. Avyaktam, avyaktam is unmanifest. Different translations are given. Avyaktam also refers to pradhan. Pradhan, you can say in one sense, modes of material nature. Now, pradhan also have different definitions. Indriyani dashai kamcha. So dasha refers to ekadashi. Dashi means 10. So indriyani das. Which 10 indriyas is talking about? Anyone can say?
5 knowledge acquiring senses and 5 working senses.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So 10 indriyas, karmendriya and jnanendriya. Thank you, Prabhuji. Ekam, what does ekam refers to? What is left? You can see from 7.4. If you minus it, you will know which ekam referring to. Try not to read Prabhupada's translation for a minute. What is left in 7.4 not mentioned here as yet? That is ekam.
Mind.
Huh?
Mind.
Mind. Thank you, Prabhuji. Huh? Mana. So mana is not mentioned. So buddhi is mentioned. Ahankar is mentioned. Panch Mahabhuta are mentioned. Indriyani das indriyas is mentioned. So ekam refers to this mind. Ekam Chaitanya Prabhupada writes here. 10 senses and the mind. Now let's go. Panch cha indriya gochara. Now this refers to 5 sense objects. So 5 plus 5 plus 5. So how many we have here? Anyone can count? In the first line, how many elements we have?
7.
6, Prabhuji. Mahabhutani 5, Ahankar is 6. Second line, anyone else can say? Rupam Prabhuji, you are on mute. You're speaking, I can't hear. My ears are very limited.
Bro, I'm counting.
Counting. 2. That's it. Buddhi, avyaktam. Avyaktam refers to 3 modes of material nature. Buddhi. 2 elements are given, right? So 5 plus 2, how many? Someone can keep account? I can't. Indriyani Dashaikam. In third line, how many elements are given?
11.
Thank you, Prabhuji. 10 plus 1. Panchache Indriya Gochara. How many elements given here? Pancha. Panch. So, Rupam Prabhu, how many in total? Can you count, please?
So, Prabhu, 7 plus 2 plus 10.
No, 6.
Plus
6
1.
here.
Oh, 6.
Plus
2, 8.
8, 11.
Plus 11, 19.
Plus 5, 24.
24.
So this is called Sankhya philosophy. 24 elements are given. Soul is not there, obviously. So everything, a subtle body and gross body elements is all there. 24 elements of Sankhya. Now, sometime you hear 25 elements in Sankhya. So which is the 25th element which they include in Sankhya? At least in theistic Sankhya, I can talk about.
Soul.
Soul. Thank you, Prabhuji. And sometimes they talk about 26 elements in Sankhya. What is the 26th element?
Man.
No, man is already counted.
Super soul.
Super soul. Thank you, Jamati Mataji. So generally 24 elements are counted, and this is the description of 24 elements. And that's why Krishna is saying in Samas. Samas means summary. He is giving the list of 24 elements. Let's go to the next one. Now you'll talk about the interaction of those elements. By interacting those elements, what does it produce? Ichha. Ichha means desire. You have some desire. Here Ichha refers to Achhi Ichha, good Ichha. You want to eat paneer ka sabji, something like that. Good things which you like. And Dvesha, some things you don't like. We all have Ichha and Dvesha. Anyone who doesn't have Ichha and Dvesha, raise your hand. Everyone has Ichha and Dvesha. You cannot reach out Ichha and Dvesha. Sukham and Dukham. So if Ichha is complete, you feel Sukha. Sukha again, he refers to what I feel. Dukkha. Now, I may not be Dukhi or Sukhi, but I feel like it. So my Ichha is fulfilled. I feel Paneer ka paratha. Thank you. So nice. So I feel Sukha. And you are given Karele ka sabji you don't like. Tresha. And you feel Dukkha. Aaj keval Karela banaya hai. You only made Karela today. Now, I'm not blaspheming Karela here. I love Karela. But the point is what you don't like, if that comes in your plate, you feel Dukkha. Sanghasta Chetana Dhriti. Sanghasta Chetana Dhriti means your Chetana gets perverted based on these things, isn't it? When some Sukha or Dukkha comes, your Chetana gets perverted due to those things. Etat Kshetram Samasena. These are all the Kshetras as well as Savikaram Udaharatam. So Prabhupada writes here, these are the field of activities and its interaction, because two things are interacting. Your man, buddhi, ahankar is interacting. You feel sukha, dukha, ichha, dvesh, and all those things. So this is in summary the Sankhya, which Krishna has explained. Now let's read the real verse. Now this is very nice verse. Again, I would highly recommend you to include this 8 and 9 at least in your personal list of verses. At least the ninth one is very popular. So you may include in your personal list 8 and 9. I know Rupam Prabhu is saying not this one, but I'm saying in personal list you can have this.
No, not in the exam, bro. From exam point of view.
Definitely not. So you can ask all the exam syllabus from Rupam Prabhu. Anyway, let's read this one and let's see how far we go. Who hasn't done as yet? Priya Mataji, would you like to do one?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yeah. Just one, first one.
Just one verse, Mataji. So what we'll do, we'll not read the full thing here because they're all integrated. We'll just read the Sanskrit and we'll try to translate and expand on it.
Okay, cool. I'll try. Amanivatvam adamvitam.
Amanitvam adambitvam.
Ahimsa shantir arjavam.
Ahimsa shantir arjavam.
Archayopasanam saucham.
Acharyopasanam saucham.
Stairyam atma vinagraha.
Stairyam atma vinigraha. Amanitvam. Anyone can translate that? It's a simple word, not a difficult one.
Nityam is, if I break it down, isn't it all the time? No.
Aman. No, Aman.
Okay.
Don't expect man. Amanitvam refers to don't expect man. Now, Prabhupada writes a beautiful explanation of it. I have read it, if I can find it. somewhere here. So I'm just looking for that line of Prabhupada. He's saying no expectation of honor. 1 second, I'll just look for it. I just want to read.
Second paragraph.
Yeah, here. Second paragraph. Thank you. Humility means that one should not be anxious to have the satisfaction of being honored by others. Huh? A beautiful definition. So sometimes we get the honor and we feel satisfied in our heart. We were discussing it earlier. So humility means you are not looking forward to it. Prabhupada said you are not anxious to have the satisfaction of being honored by others. That is called amanitvam. Huh? No expectation of man. Now, what happens if the man comes? Someone says, you have done wonderful service for Krishna. Huh? Is giving honor. What do you do then? No, I'm Amanina. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also says Amanina Man Deni Kirtanya Sabari. So what do we do in that situation? When the man comes, Prabhupada writes, we are not anxious, we are not expecting the man, but we can accept the man. We are not expecting. If you have done wonderful service for Krishna, for your Guru Maharaj, very nice, but you're not expecting, Are kisi ne mujhe bola nahi? I was working so hard and no one had recognized or acknowledged my seva. We are not expecting. But if the man comes, we accept it on behalf of our spiritual master or our spiritual teachers. So yes, you have done a wonderful seva. All glories to my spiritual master. All glories to devotees who have guided me in such a way. Through that, I could do this seva wonderfully. So you don't have to say, no. This seva wasn't wonderful, this and that. No. The seva was wonderful. Thank you, Mataji, Prabhuji. And all glories to my spiritual master. All glories to Prabhupada. All glories to these devotees who have guided me so wonderfully. I was able to do something which pleases Vaishnava and Guru. So, amanitam, adambitvam. So, dambha word is also very popular. What's the difference between ahankar and dambha? So, ahankar, you'll see ahankar coming soon, but I'll explain it here because it's the right place to explain it. So, ahankar refers to, suppose you have $1 million and you call yourself a millionaire. Will you be called ahankari as per devotional definition? Yes or no? You know what? I'm a millionaire. I'm millionaire. You go around telling about yourself. I'm millionaire. Devotees will call you Bada Ahankari hai. He's a very egoistic person. He's telling about his this. Now imagine I don't have $1 million and I'm still saying I'm a millionaire. Then I don't have money, right? So once I had the money and I sort of expand on my glories, I say I'm millionaire. I'm called Ahankari. I'm called egoistic. But I don't have money and I said I'm called a Dambhi. So Dambhi is a person who does not possess the skill, does not have that thing, still call himself like that. Anyone can remember an example where the person didn't have it, but still he was saying I'm great in that field. Anyone can remember any example from Shastra?
Duryodhan.
Thank you, Mata. Duryodhan was a Dambhi. He didn't have humility. He didn't have any good qualities, but he thought himself a person of a great character. Now, some things he did good as well, so we're not denying those things, but most of the time he was a Dambhi. So he had Ahankar as well as Dambha. So he had few things on which he had Ahankar and on which he didn't have, he had Dambha. So a devotee is Amanitvam, Adambhitvam. Next, Ahimsa. Ahimsa is generally taken as non-violence to the body, but Prabhupada writes a beautiful definition. He says Ahimsa means not giving enough development opportunity, spiritual development opportunity to others is called Hinsa. So if you have beautiful things to share with others by which their spiritual growth will happen, and if you don't share with others, you are called a violent person. So violence is just not done on a physical level. It can be done on a mental or on a spiritual level. And Prabhupada is talking about that kind of ahimsa. So who is a ahimsa vadi? Who is preaching Krishna consciousness? He is a non-violent person, isn't it? Because he is giving Krishna to others. He is a real non-violent person, not the one who just says, no hinsa, like that Buddhist we were talking earlier. Shantir. So a devotee is, I'll just read Prabhupada translation here. Shanti means tolerance. So we were speaking with Manohan Prabhu earlier on the topic of tolerance. What does tolerance mean? Tolerance does not mean you tolerate anything and everything. Tolerance means, as per Vedic culture, means persistence. Tolerance means persistence. If too much heat or too much cold is there, will you not prepare for your exam? I'm not recommending that, but I'm just saying you cannot come back and say 30 years there's a lot of cold coming. I expect, and I think it's reasonable. We all prepare. Prabhupada gives example of a lady in India in hot summer of May and June is still preparing food for her family. So she's tolerating the heat of a very severe heat, but she is still very happy cooking for her family. Huh? So tolerance does not mean you tolerate anything and everything. Tolerance means persistence. A small thing should not distract you for big things. Huh? One example, Gaur Krishna Maharaj gave, you come to ISKCON or say Krishna conscious movement for doing bhajan, for advancing in your devotion. And he said you should have less disagreements with your peers and devotees. Huh? You may have a difference of opinion, but that should not bother you in advancing your devotion. Huh? You have a different opinion, that's fine, but it should not bother you. Many people, because of difference of opinion, they leave Krishna consciousness. Huh? So Maharaj was speaking on that. You may have difference of opinion than others, than your God brothers, God sisters, but that does not mean you should stop practicing Krishna consciousness, because this is the ultimate goal. Your difference of opinion will last only few years, maximum. Huh? Valid, invalid, whatever they are, it doesn't matter. But you should look at your higher goal. Chaitanya also talks about it. You should look at your bigger goal. But it does not mean anyone can come and attack on you, destroy you or your property, and you're tolerating. No, that's not what the meaning of tolerance is. Tolerance means persistence. You're persistently going after Krishna. I have to become Krishna consciousness in this lifetime. Persistence every day, every moment, as much as possible. A devotee is pushing himself or herself to become a better devotee. Acharyopasanam. So Acharya refers to obviously Acharya or a teacher. Acharya also refers to different gurus. Gurus means people who are worshipable. So there can be people who are elderly by age. There can be people which is elderly by knowledge. There can be people which are elderly by experience. So people who have these things, they can also be worshipped. Worship means does not mean a physical arti. They can be respected, followed. This person is saying good. This is good for my Krishna consciousness. I take it. An example given in 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Dattatreya has how many gurus? Anyone remembers? How many gurus Dattatreya has? 24.
24.
Thank you, Mataji. One of the guru, for example, is Kabutar. Pigeon is a guru. Prithvi is a guru. Agni is a guru. Pani is a guru. Even a prostitute is a guru. A balak, a child is a guru. Why? Because he is giving some siksha, some education, which helps me to become a better devotee. Acharya Pasam. Socham. Socham refers to Prabhupada writes two types of socha. Socham is cleanliness. So external cleanliness, very important. But the ultimate socham is internal cleanliness. Your heart should be free from lust, greed, anger, and all those things. Isthariam. Again, a devotee is very sthir, very steady in Krishna consciousness. Atma vinigraha, self-control. We talked about it earlier as well. Next verse. Anyone who wants to read? Raghavi Mataji, would you like to read one?
Yes, Prabhuji. Indriyartheshu vairagyam.
Indriyartheshu vairagyam.
Ahankara evacha.
Anahankara evacha.
Sorry. Janma mrityu jara vyadhi.
Janma mrityu jara vyadhi.
Dukkha doshanudarshanam.
Dukkha doshanudarshanam. So indriyartheshu vairagyam. So we are detached from indriya artha. Indriya artha means sense gratification. So it does not mean you don't look after your body. You definitely look after your body, but you're not going after those activities which just gratify your senses in separation to Krishna. Ahankar, we already explained ahankar and dambha. So ahankar means ego. Anahankar, devotee has no ego. Now it doesn't mean devotee has no ego. We say devotee has no false ego. Devotee also has ego. And what's the ego of a devotee? Anyone can say? We are also egoistic. Vijay Mataji, you are on mute, sorry.
Prabhuji, it can be like, ego in the sense like, I am the devotee of Krishna, or I.
Yes, I'm the follower of Prabhupada. I'm a devotee of Krishna. So
Yes.
this is the real ego. A false ego means I am a CEO of this company. But when I say I'm a devotee of Krishna, that's a great honor actually, great honor. Prabhupada was explaining in a lecture. Prabhupada said, we are going everywhere in the world, we are getting so much honor, not because we are great, we are devotees of Krishna. And you would have experienced, all of you are, I'm sure, doing Damodar programs. You go in some houses, you get so much honor, honestly. Why? Because they're seeing you as a representative of Krishna. You're carrying Damodar deity, or you're talking in a class, or you're doing some seva. Devotees or others, even non-devotees, give you so much honor. Why? Because that's a real ego, actually, real ego. We may not be a devotee, but they expect us to be a devotee, and they give honor. So that actually is the real ego. So we are not saying no ego, we are saying no false ego. Janma Mrityu Jara. Now, this is a very, very popular sort of statement. Many times you will hear in different lectures. Janma, birth, Mrityu, death, Jara is old age, Vyadhi is disease. Dukkha, dosha, nidarsanam. Now, this gives dukkha. Janma gives dukkha. Is it right or wrong? Now, people become very happy when Janma happens, but the baby who's been born, if you ask him or her, that's not a very comfortable situation which that place is coming from, he or she is coming from. Very, very terrible. In all the sampradayas, you will see Janma is Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam, Punarapi Janani Jathare Shayanam, Ih Sansare Bahusastare, Krapya Pare Pahi Murare. So Shankaracharya ji is saying, taking birth again and again, Janani Jatharam. Janani Jatharam is in the tummy of a mother, in the garbha of a mother. Residing and coming out, taking Janma is very painful. So Murari, please take me out, take me out. Mrityu is definitely, no doubt, is very, very painful. People are even scared to have this word on their tongue. They said, Radha Kund Maharaj, I'm just trying to remember one poetry Maharaj mentions, Marne ka naam mat lo, marna buri bala hai. Maharaj says that. Marne ka naam mat lo. So don't take the name of death. Marna buri bala hai. So Mrityu obviously says in Skanda Puran, you feel the pain of 10,000 scorpions biting you simultaneously. 10,000 scorpions. Now, if you have had one experience, I'm sure it says very terrible. And if 10,000, that's why Kulashekar Maharaj says in Mukunda Maharaj Sutra, Krishna, let me die right now, because right now my mind is fully Krishna conscious, because at the time of death, I don't know what my consciousness will be. So let me die right now, because right now I'm very focused on you. So no, we're not recommending this sort of prayers in an immature way. The point here is when we should die when we are fully aware of Krishna's presence. Devotees are around, holy name is around, Sabdham is there. That is very auspicious leaving of the body. Otherwise, normal death is very, very painful. Jara, one devotee was telling regarding Jara, no one wants to get old, and everyone, many of the time, we want to show we are very young. We dye our hair. We have some other, I don't know, anti-aging injections. I don't know how they work, but sometime in Google, the ad comes, anti-aging, you look 10 years younger. But your password still tells you the reality. So Jara, no one likes it, but it comes, and Vyadhi in between. Janma and Mrityu, the Vyadhis keep coming. No one is out of this Vyadhi. And it says mental Vyadhi becomes physical Vyadhi. Mental Vyadhi means a person is thinking a lot. I heard in some lecture or in some article somewhere, it says at least one of the reason of cancer is a person who is very angry can get cancer, because when you are angry, your mind secretes certain sort of hormones which are actually not good for your body. And if you're constantly being in that emotion of anger, your body has this particular hormone a lot in your body, which causes cancer in your body. So I was just remembering, this modern day article is so related with Shastra, because Shastra says your adhi means mental thinking becomes your vyadhi, which is bodily disease. That's why we should become happy as much as possible. Devotee is happy in all the situations. Santushta yena kenachit. In every situation, devotee is happy. So Janmriti Jara Vyadhi Dukkha Doshanudarshanam. And what we should be doing, we should have anudarshan. So darshan means seeing, anudarshan means seeing with Shastra. Now anu has multiple meanings. Anyone remembers? I think I have explained this. What's the meaning of anu as a suffix? Sorry, as a prefix. Anu.
Follower. Anu.
It,
Anu means
it
follower.
means deep, like
Follower.
Anusmarana.
Okay, or
It means
Minute.
deep.
minute, deep. Okay, more. Seeing with Shastra. Anu means seeing with Shastra, not just seeing with a normal vision. So darshan means to see with eyes. Anu darshan means seeing with Shastric vision, Jnana Chakshu. Seeing these things with Shastra, how terrible they are. Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadi, they keep getting again and again. We don't want it, but we keep getting it again and again. So not seeing it just with the normal vision, seeing with Shastra, it's really terrible, and I have to do something to come out of this. So let's read next verse. Who wants to read?
I can read. Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji.
Just before that, I was remembering Bhakti Rasamrit Maharaj's statement. He says, he quotes very often Krishna Das,
Bindas,
Bindas, Maya Das, Sadau
Sadaudas.
Das.
Haribo. I love that. Krishna Das, Bindas. Easy to say.
Yes.
But at least we can aspire. Just one thing I want to add, Mataji, just on that very nicely. Gaur Gopal Prabhuji, I was listening one of his class, and someone asked him, Prabhu, you're always laughing on the camera. Do you laugh off the camera as well? Very nice question, huh? Because he's always laughing and joking. So Prabhu explained, and I think he has explained in Sydney as well. For last 29 years, Prabhu has a special pain in his head. Huh? He said, I have never felt a painless situation in last 29 years. That's a lot. Huh? We have one small headache, one small flu. We're like upside down. We're telling everyone, Prabhu, I'm sick, I'm sick. Prabhu was saying 29 years constantly, I had not had one free pain-free night, huh? or a day. That's a lot. He said, so pain to sabke paas hai. Everyone has their own pain, huh? Bodily pain or mental pain. And we have to go through this journey. So he said, why go through miserably? Why not happily? Karna to hai, has ke karenge, huh? That was very nice. So we all have to go through our journey. So better we be happy and tolerate all these painful situations and move forward. Huh? So it's a good inspiration. Huh? I thought I'll just add.
Yeah, suffering is optional. Pain can be there, but suffering is optional.
Yeah, Radhanath Maharaj says that very nicely. Yes, Mother, please.
Asaktir anabhi bhishva anabhisangha sangha
Asaktir anabhisangha
putradara grahatishu
Putradara grahadishu
nityam cha samachittattvam
Nityam cha samachittattvam
ishtanishtopapatishu
Ishtanishtopapatishu. Asakti. Asakti. Anyone knows the meaning of asakti? Asakti, asakti. There are two different words. They are antonyms. They are not synonyms. So asakti means attachment. Asakti means detachment. Huh? So we should have detachment. Anabhisvangaha. So I will also read Prabhupada translation here. Being without association. Yes, I was thinking. So sangha refers to association, and anabhisvanga refers to without association. Okay. Putra refers to son. Dara grahadishu. So Dara refers to Prabhupada Rai's wife, which is nice. Graha adishu. Graha means a shelter or a house. Adishu means etc. So we should have unattachment to Putra Dara Graha Adishu. Now you can say, how can you be unattached to our wife or husband and son or daughter and Graha Adishu? We are natural human beings. So I think we were discussing this point earlier. So we will have some attachment, we'll have some expectation, but not over expectation and over attachment. And if we could be attached in a Krishna conscious way, that is the best. That means Kunti Maharani is saying in 1:8:41, Krishna, please cut my attachments to Pandavas and Vishnus. And then Krishna says, really, mother, you want all the attachments to be cut? She said, yes. But Tvai me ananda visha, verse 42, she said, Tvai me ananda visha, I want my attachment to you and through you. You understand? To you means to Krishna, and through you means to all the things which are related to Krishna. If my sons, say Pandavas in this case, are related with you, I want attachment with them, but through you, not directly, as my son. Huh? So we can have attachment to your son or daughter in two ways. Is my son or my daughter, or is Krishna's son and Krishna's daughter? Huh? So if we have attachment through Krishna, that attachment is recommended. So we can have attachment to our house, to our wife or husband, to our son or daughter through Krishna. But materially speaking, asakti. Nityam cha samachitvam. So our chitta is sama. We are reading this again and again. Equipoise. Ishta, Anishta. So Ishta means we have Ishtadev. I'm sure in other languages also we have Ishtadev, means whenever we need something, we go to Ishtadev or Kula Devta and we ask something. So Ishta means Shubh things, auspicious things. Anishta means inauspicious things. So either in auspicious situation or inauspicious situation, samachitvam. Our chitta, our consciousness is some equipoise. When it's equipoise, nityam, always. Now I'll not read these two verses. It's already 5:55. Yeah, there's not much philosophy here, but anyway, we'll read next time. Any quick questions or comments? Everyone is happy. So next week, asking a question here. We can do a quick revision of your exam preparation. We can take all the 6 chapters from chapter 7 to 12. We can do a revision there, or we can do a 23rd. I'm open on that. What's the voting? I can do the 16th. We can do the revision. I think Charu Mataji or someone said to do the revision on 16th. I can't remember.
I said Prabhu.
Okay, Ujjwala Mataji. Sorry. Yeah, you live close, so that's all right. So we can do on 16th or 23rd. Totally up to you, and we can continue like that.
Bro, can we do 16 and 23rd?
Hari bol, Hari bol. Okay, let's start on 16th, and we see how we go. Okay. Now, Rasanand Prabhu, would you like to just go through those questions of chapters, 10, 11, and 12, which you done last time for 7, 8, and 9? So we'll quickly do those questions. I think there are very few, right? It should not take much time, and then we'll do the verses. So I want to do the verses. So Rupam Prabhu, you can have the verse list ready for me, whatever verses there. Actually, I don't know. You can forward me that as well. So I'll look into those verses. And I'll do some more things as well. I want to do not just from the exam perspective, just from importance perspective as well. What is more relevant in our day-to-day life? So we'll cover a few topics there from all the chapters. We'll take one by one chapter. So we'll take the assignment questions first by Rasanand Prabhuji for 3 chapters, and then we'll do 7 to 12 everything, and then see how far we go. Okay. Sundar Gopal Prabhu is not here. His internet is not working. Rupam Prabhu or anyone else, any important things which we should know?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, there was some confusion regarding this verses, Prabhu. For
Confusion?
module.
Oh, is it?
No, verses in a sense, the memory verses.
I thought it was clear. Rupam Prabhu, is it still a question?
I don't have a question, Prabhu, but
okay. So Rasanand Prabhu, maybe you can speak with Rupam Prabhu if you have any doubts. I thought we cleared all those doubts.
Because I didn't see, because as per the chart, it was 12 chapters was in module 3 or module 4. 12 chapters verses.
Yeah, Prabhuji is definitely in this module, and we'll do in this module. And Rupam Prabhu, maybe you can republish that list. So Rupam Prabhu has prepared Prabhuji a verse list. Please re-look into it. I thought it's all clear. Anyone else have any other things like this? Now today, just remember, is the final day for submitting your assignment. I think I'm looking for 6 or 5 more assignments. And while I'm speaking, I can see 4 more mails have come into my inbox. So maybe it's all your email, which is nice. So please submit if you have not submitted as yet. Tonight, 12 o'clock. Technically, we will not accept any assignment coming tomorrow. And sorry, but if even it's not in the best shape, do it today, because tomorrow will not accept it, and then actually technically you cannot sit in the exam tomorrow. And not tomorrow means after 2 weeks or 3 weeks. So please submit your assignment today, and we'll do the revision next time. If you have any more questions, if you need my time extra, literally just send me a message. We'll decide a time which is okay with both of us, and I can have a chat over the phone if that's needed. That's fine with me. So we'll do the revision next week. Okay. Let's stop here. And also a quick thing, Purushottam Mass is coming soon. So please make up your mind like that. It's still 9 days away or 8 days away. And try to do something which pleases Krishna in that particular month. Okay. And if you need any more information about Purushottam Mass, contact Rasanand Prabhu and Vijay Gopi Mataji. They are the master of Purushottam's glories now. Okay.
All your glories, Prabhu.
We are just spreading the message of Krishna. That's all. Okay. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Namaste Prabhupada ki jai. Bhagavad Gita ki jai.
Yes.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhu.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Sorry, one last thing I just remembered. Next week class may go longer, which I'm happy to do. So please expect this class to be a little longer because exam is coming, and we should cover many aspects of the exam. And I, as I said, I'm not just taking from exam perspective. I'm also taking what is important as well. So that can be a little longer. Okay. Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhu, not clear, Prabhu, what you said last.
So the next class may be little longer than usual. Just because we are not just preparing for the exam, because we are preparing for important topics to be rediscussed. So just be mentally ready for that. Okay, Hare Krishna. We'll stop here. We'll see you soon.